Hello and welcome to Group Chat. I'm your host Bentley, and today I'm excited to welcome back Gabriella McKinley, actor, director, program director at Ujima Company Incorporated, and 2025 Artie Award nominee. Woo! Yay! All-star bunch today. Sufana Wajed, artist, designer, associate producer, and production coordinator at Buffalo Toronto Public Media. Yay! And Ashleigh Chrisena Ricci, performer and host of Buffalo Toronto Public Media's Let's Go and 2025 Artie Award nominee. Woo! Yay! Man, we got you guys in here because, you know, those awards were just announced. So we were on top of getting the celebrities, the all-stars in here. Today we're blending reflection and celebration, honoring Memorial Day and those who served, then diving into summer's best barbecue, wine, blockbuster films, because summer is here, right? Buffalo's vibrant theater scene and the freshly announced Artie Award nominations. But first, what are you talking about in your group chats? Do we want to know, Chrisena?
I have a lot of group chats happening right now. So I'll play it safe. One of the group chats I'm in, we are planning a trip right now. So there's like that saying, does the trip make it out of the chat? It is going to make it out of the chat.
Okay.
Good.
We are going to Paris for a short period of time.
Yay.
Wow.
I'm so excited. I feel so bad though because my life is absolute chaos right now. So everyone's like, "Ooh, what days are you? They're trying to plan stuff," and I'm like, "I can't. I have no mental space for this." So I'm doing a lot of thumbs up, and I'm also like, "I will get back to you on this." Yeah. I'll be there. I don't know, but I'll be there. Just I don't know when exactly. I don't know for how long. I'll figure it out. I've got time.
Yeah, that's when there's trip planning in my group chats, I am as long as I don't have to plan, I will do whatever. These are the dates.
Yes.
Somebody else plan it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much me. So sorry to that group chat. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry to all of you for putting up with me, but I'll be there. I promise.
We may need to do a travel edition group chat since I feel like people are more and more talking about travel planning in their group chats.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. It's that time.
What about you, Sufana?
Oh, like Chrisena, I have several, but some are like sleepy right now. They're like dormant. But the one that's popping is my music one. We're sharing music.
Yes.
I had a chance to listen to Andre 3000's piano one.
Yes.
Nice.
It's cool. It's really cool. Like I'm still adjusting to the fact that he's not rapping. And I get it. Like as an artist, I get it. You want to branch out into all your different, realms of artistry. But there was another one that was shared with me. Her name is Nyla Sinefru. And let me get this right because she doesn't like to be called a harpist, but she plays a harp. Okay. She's a composer that plays a harp.
Okay.
So, and she does a lot of work that has to do with frequency, and she plays at 432 frequency. Wow. So it's really cool, mellow. You can, listen to it while you're writing or, doing some work in the house or whatever. But yeah, so those are the two that have been shared recently in the group chat.
I'm glad you brought up Andre 3000. He's just in different phases. There's just different phases of his work.
I too miss rapping Andre though.
Right.
So I hear you. I feel you.
It explains the piano at the Met Gala.
Yeah.
So
that was his introduction.
Yeah. So
and how about you, Gabriella?
We are talking about, tomorrow we're going on our wine tour. And that's going to be fun. My friend's out in Canada. We're going to go to two wineries and we're going to try out some wine there. And it's going to be really cute. I am not the biggest wine person, but I love girl time. And so that's what I'm really looking forward to, is just hanging with my girls. So that'll be really fun. But in my other group chat, because we all have multiple, I'm also planning a trip to Houston to go to DreamCon. We're going to Houston this time. Last time it was in Austin. This time it's Houston. And we're going to DreamCon, which is like a big anime convention because I'm also a nerd. So we're going to go there. It's going to be awesome.
Do you dress up when you go to the anime convention?
Absolutely, because I'm also a nerd.
What are you going to go as?
I don't remember her. I keep forgetting her name, but she's from Arcane. So she's Jace's girlfriend. Yeah, Jason's girlfriend. So I'm wearing her white outfit with the slips up the side. I'm going to put some locks in. It's going to be really cute. I'm very excited for that next week.
We demand pictures.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's funny you brought up Arcane too, because that soundtrack is very popular right now. So good.
It's amazing. It's an amazing soundtrack. If you haven't watched it, highly, highly, highly recommend.
I want to watch it based on the soundtrack. So lots of things to talk about today. Memorial Day weekend coming up. It kicks off summer, and as we've been talking about, we really are needing summer right now. But it's also invites reflection. So how do you balance fun and remembrance? Because there are, it is a day to remember those who've been lost, and there's parades, there's ceremonies, but sometimes we get a little bit away from that. So what are some of the things that you do? There are a bunch of area Memorial Day parades and things like that, but some people also do their own types of memorials. So, and I know Memorial Day too can be remembering, even people in your life that have passed. And I know I always remember growing up, and I don't live where I grew up now, but I do try, if I go back for Memorial Day, like cemetery keep up was always a thing, and going to the graves and doing flowers. And then also the same thing with service, people that have passed. There's people that are in charge of making sure there's flags on everybody's graves. And that's, I feel like carrying on that tradition, like who is going to keep that going?
Yeah. It's always good to take the kids out there to do that. And then it sets them on that path of continuing, when you're unable to do it. Yeah, I know in our family, whenever we get together, the way that we balance it is we tell funny stories about the person that passed on. Like, remember when Granny did this, and remember when, Dad did this, so that's a way of remembering them. And I have, a lot of people in my family that serve too, and with me doing my family tree, I found out that it goes way, way, way back.
So have you started doing your family tree? You're researching your ancestry.
Yes, and then finding out that they were in this infantry and that infantry and things like of that nature.
Wow, that's powerful, and also a great way to remember. To know the history.
Yeah.
Because I think we get very far removed from a lot of these things. So it's good to revisit that. So plans for the weekend, getting together with family, barbecuing. Christina's nodding.
I'm working.
Yeah.
I'm working all weekend. We do, one thing that we always do on Memorial Day is we plant in our garden. So just thinking about remembering people that you've lost, and we started our kind of family garden with my father-in-law before he passed, and so now every year we spend time in the garden taking care of it and growing plants that will be around hopefully much longer than we will. So hopefully planting things that people will be able to enjoy for generations. So we like to do that. So we'll definitely be in the garden this weekend. I'll be in rehearsals also, but creating art for our community, that's good too. But yeah, I'll be working all weekend.
And there are actually a ton of Memorial Day parades, and Joanna, our producer, was nice enough to list them all for me. There is a Marilla Memorial Day Parade, a Lockport Memorial Day Parade. Those are on Sunday. On Monday, Clarence, Collins, Dunkirk, Kenmore, Tonawanda, Lackawanna, Orchard Park, West Seneca, Williamsville. So there is probably some sort of ceremony or something going on in your community if you are looking for a way to just, honor those who have passed. I always remember marching in parades and stuff when I was a kid. Yeah. I was always scared of when they would do the gun salutes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so then whenever I would see somebody marching with a rifle, I always thought they were going to shoot it, so I would hide. But
good instincts.
Memorial Day parades in all of those areas. And I know, a lot of people do. I don't know what the weather's going to be hit or miss, I think, this weekend. But, that always changes. But I know, like, outdoor barbecuing has become a tradition, and I don't know if it's because it's a Northeast thing because of weather, or it's the first time you can get the grill out. Any barbecuers here? Anybody?
My husband is. I reap the benefits.
Yeah.
I don't do any of the work.
No, whenever I would have it at my house, I always would enlist an uncle or a cousin. And
Yeah.
they would gladly just get on the grill.
Yeah.
Like, I'll take care of the sides and everything else, but you get on the grill. They would gladly do it.
Oh man, I'll cook, but not on a barbecue.
Yeah.
No.
It's a talent.
I'm not a huge fan of like lots of meat like that.
Yeah.
Like I like vegetables, and I like them
sure.
when they're sautéed. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of like meat. So what I do like, or I do love the sides. Right. Someone makes me a mean coleslaw.
Oh, that's
yeah.
a
So
staple
good.
at a barbecue,
So
right?
So
important.
good. So good. So I don't get on the grill, but I'll make some coleslaw and some roasted corn.
And what people don't understand is that, barbecue has evolved. You don't just have to have meat. Like, we've learned that in my family, because there are some plant-based people in my family, and we've learned to do the, either the plant-based meat, for the burgers, sausages, hot dogs, or like that, or make like a black bean and sweet potato burger. I make a
that
mean
sounds so
black
good.
Yeah.
See, I'm going to your place for barbecue. I like that.
yeah, and then also, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of jackfruit and using the jackfruit the same way you would pulled chicken or pulled pork. You
So
season it
good.
and put it on the Hawaiian bun.
Yeah. It's
I
like
gotta do
sweet,
that. I gotta do
especially
that.
if you do like a little spicy sauce
Yes.
with it. Then it's sweet and I love sweet and spicy, but yeah, delicious.
Yeah,
I love
so
jackfruit.
People don't have to fill up on sides anymore.
Yeah.
That was me. I was that
Right.
person.
I mean, that is a sign of good barbecue, though, is the side. I know when you go out to barbecue. I feel like grilling is always one of the more healthier options, but I can't actually get that same thing. My partner does the grilling, but I do feel like I like a little char on things. So I'm like, if you burn it, it's fine. Like on a grill, like right, if you get
That's
some char,
flavor.
that's
That's
just
the
flavor, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like I wouldn't be able to mess it up too bad, but I say that and the open flame and stuff. I don't know if I trust myself.
I'm out on that.
Yeah, but I've gotten into the roasted vegetables and the roasted corn.
That.
But, as you were saying, the sides. And I feel like that's also what makes a good barbecue spot if you're going to a barbecue place.
Sure.
And we actually have some very good barbecue here in Buffalo. Southern Junction, nominated for James
So
Beard.
good.
I was just gonna say that is the barbecue spot.
It-
That is
So good.
yeah. It's one of the few places that because like I said, I don't really like meat like that, but I'll go there and I will eat their meat
Yeah.
and their sides. Everything is so
good.
yeah. The trick is you got to know, you have to have a strategy for going there because you get your food at the counter, then you go find a seat, and that is a popular place. So you better have
You
a
go
plan.
with a team of people.
Yeah, you're like
You
elbowing
scout out
people.
the table. Yeah.
That's it.
Just stand over people while they're finishing.
Yeah.
Are you almost finished?
Yeah.
Can we have your table when you're finished?
Well, it was funny. They got nominated. They were nominated 2 years in a row, and I was it 2 years in a row? They were nominated, and I was like, I've heard they're really good. And then you go there, and it looks like every other barbecue kind of, but then you eat it, and you're like, hello, this is why this is nominated.
Hello.
Sufana, you mentioned sides as well. What are some of the sides that you make, or you have to have at a barbecue, even if you don't make them?
Have either my uncle or my aunt's potato salad.
Oh, that sounds good.
It has to be there.
Yeah.
Or it's the tuna salad with the pasta and all that. Also, we do baked beans. So we have the ones for the people that are meat eaters, and we have the vegetarian ones.
Yeah. Well, that's another tradition that has to be carried on. Speaking of traditions, those are the things that sometimes we take for granted. And And the people that make the good stuff never have a recipe.
Nope.
It's always,
I know.
it's from your heart. It's a pinch of this. Yes.
Yeah.
Like, how
Hunk of
much is a
this.
pinch?
And then when you stir it,
Once
you make
it's
sure it
done.
sounds like this.
Yeah.
Make sure it sounds like this.
And then once it's done, you just take, well, how will I know when it's done?
Right.
Tell
Yeah.
me how.
When you feel
you
it
know,
in your
when you-
What do you
heart.
mean folded in? Just fold it.
I know. I'm like,
What
what
do you
does
mean?
what does
Yeah.
fold mean?
Oh my
If
God.
you're just joining us, you're listening to Group Chat on BTPM NPR. I'm joined by Gabriella McKinley, Sufana Wajed, Ashleigh Chrisena Ricci, and we're talking Memorial Day weekend remembrance, and also we got into barbecue. And did you know that Sunday is also National Wine Day. And I know, Gabriella, you were talking about you're going to be going on a wine tour.
I absolutely am. I mean, like I said, I am not like a huge wine girly, but what I do love about wine is that it makes you drink slow. And it makes you drink slow and talk with people. It makes you drink slow and like maybe even learn, because we're going on a tour, so we're going to learn some stuff, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to be learning about all these different types of wine and how they're like crafted and what makes them special and the notes of this. And I love all that stuff. I love learning and I love talking and chatting. And I love wine for that reason. So I hope everyone partakes in that on wine day.
Do you know, where are you going for your wine tour?
Oh man, I was hoping you didn't ask me that. I don't remember.
Niagara. You mentioned Canada. I wondered if it was Niagara on the Lake, because they've been they're really known for their ice wines. I guess this region of the country, because of the
Finger Lakes.
sweetness.
If you, I did wine. Ice wine was my last year adventure, right? And ice wine is extremely sweet.
Yes.
It's a really sweet wine that I thought I was just gonna, because I love sweet wine. I was just gonna take it back and enjoy it. I drank that slower than I drank.
It's like
regular
syrupy.
wine. Yeah, it's like syrup.
Yeah.
It's thick and tasty.
Viscous. It's yummy.
Yeah, and there's also other types of wines that are in the region. I know that I had friends that went to, they're into wine. They know about wine. I never bring wine to their house because they have something that's probably better.
Sure.
So, and they're not snobs, but they're connoisseurs of wine. Let's just say it that way. They were in Montreal and they were at this like world-renowned wine bar restaurant, and they were like, "Would you be opposed to a Canadian wine?" And they were like, "Tried it," and they were like, "Oh, this is great." And they said it's from Niagara on the Lake.
Yeah.
They were thinking like global,
somewhere.
And now they go there all the time to do wine tours.
I know it is in Niagara on the Lake. It begins with an I. There are so many wineries in Niagara on the Lake, so it's one of them.
You know the region. You know. Hey, listen. I think when people do wine tours, they know the region they're going to, and then they just go.
I'm a huge wino. Well, not that makes it sound like I drink a lot. I don't. That's not what I mean. Let me start over. Can I start over?
Yes.
Let's roll it back. Oh, Bentley. Yes, I too like wine. So my husband and I, whenever we travel, we tend to go to different wine regions and taste all these different wines, and we are kind of in the same boat as your friends. We're not really pretentious. Like, we just like to taste wine. And we do, now that we've tasted so many, we're like, oh yes, we love this style from this region or whatever, because we've just been there and we tasted it and we liked it. But the Finger Lakes is such a fun place to visit. And like, this region is known globally for its wines. Definitely like a little sweeter than I tend to go personally. But still some really nice wines. And like, it's right in our backyard. What a treasure.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So fun.
Easy to get to.
And supposedly, not that it's just limited to sweet grapes, but and listen, actual wine experts out there, this is the like shortened version, and it's not scientific at all. But because we do have the cold weather, we have warm weather and then cold weather. That's what causes the sugar in the grapes to come to the surface more. Yeah.
So it's usually like the harder of a life that the grape has, the better it tastes. So sometimes, like, if you get a red wine, I know, right?
That's exciting.
Be like the grapes. Be like the grapes. So like, if there's a drought year, sometimes those wines will taste particularly good because the plant has struggled so much that the fruit is actually like cleaner and yummier. But here it's a really difficult climate to stay alive if you're a plant, right? It's super cold. And then there's also microclimates like up by the lakes where it's even colder and wetter, and it makes them super sweet. So it is like a natural sweetness. So we should all be like wine. We should be like grapes.
I love that.
Get sweeter when times get harder instead of
The next time I'm struggling, I'm gonna think of that. I'm just like wine. I'm like a wine grape.
Yeah.
It's nature, so it's good for you, right?
It's basically health food.
It's health food. It's
fruit
plants.
salad. That's what I'll bring to the cookout, okay? Because I know I'm not going to cook a dish for the cookout.
We will take
the wine.
I'll bring fruit salad in the form of wine.
The Lake Erie Wine Trail is, there's 10, 12, 22 different wineries. There's a winery in Portland, New York, Westfield, Ripley, Silver Creek, Fredonia, Sheridan. I know we always do I feel like you're always traveling a little ways to go to either the Finger Lakes or you're going to Canada, but some of these places are really close by. So I think we need a group chat wine tasting, wine trip, travel club, group chat, travel club, group chat wine tasting.
Right.
I think that sounds.
We'll travel somewhere and we'll drink wine when we get there.
Yes. And then go to Sufana's house for barbecue.
Absolutely.
And make her family make us potato salad. But it is one of those things where I think when you live in an area, you're always discovering different things about it. Because if it's a part of your area and you don't always go to those places, you're discovering new wine. So we expect a full report from you, Gabriella. On your
Can't wait.
And we actually, speaking of James Beard Awards, Waxlight, they were nominated 2 years in a row for their outstanding wine and beverage program. And Jessica Forster, who's their sommelier, also a female sommelier, which from what I hear is
it's challenging.
It's challenging and it's not a common thing. And their wine list is excellent if you ever
I went in for just date night with my husband. We just sat at the bar and they had a wine by the glass. It was a Riesling from Alsace. And I was like, I'll try it. And it said on it was like very limited quantities. So I was like, let's try it. I got 2 more glasses. I never drink that many glasses of wine in one sitting. And I was like, just keep it was so good.
That's
and
how
it went
they
well
get
with their food too. I'm really like does this wine pair with what I'm eating?
Interesting.
So there's definitely wines that I would recommend for barbecue versus other wines. So like if you're a meat eater barbecue person, I would probably say stick with a red. Probably not something too dry like a Chianti or something. You want something a little juicier, fruitier, jammier, because that goes with the like smokiness from your grilled meats. But Gabriella, if you're gonna stay away from that and you're gonna have more like vegetal experience, then I would say go for a nice white wine, like a Vino Verde, nice little fresh vegetal moment. That's what I would say. I'm not a sommelier.
Yes, you are.
But we know what
you're in group chats.
Okay.
We know
Sorry
what you're
to the folks at Waxlight. I'm not.
We know what you're bringing to the barbecue.
I got it.
Wine.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, that's what always gets me, because I do like doing the food and wine pairings, especially there. And then next thing you know, you're 4 courses in and you're 4 glasses in. You're just like,
you're not going to work tomorrow. Yeah.
Also, we mentioned Silver Creek Winery Tapestry, our new show on BTPM NPR. We'll be doing a feature there. So, in exploring that. Man, how did I not get included in that shoot? I mean,
hello. I know why I didn't, because Let's Go is for a younger audience. So I guess we can't go to a winery.
We don't want to mix
for
them
children.
up,
That's maybe not the right.
The parents.
Let's go
All right,
for
kids.
parents.
Go in the other room.
Parents. I love that.
Let's go, lights out. It's
We're going to take a little break, but when we come back, we're talking about summer blockbusters. So excited to hear everybody's take on that, and for you to tell me what I need to see this summer. Don't go away. Group chat on BTPM NPR. We'll be right back. Thanks for joining us again on Group Chat. I'm your host, Bentley, and I'm joined by Gabriella McKinley, actor, director, program director at Ujima Company Incorporated, and 2025 Artie Award nominee, Sufana Wajed, artist, designer, associate producer, and production coordinator at Buffalo Toronto Public Media, and Ashleigh Chrisena Ricci, performer and host of Buffalo Toronto Public Media's Let's Go, and 2025 Artie Award nominee. And we are going to get into the Artie Awards. Don't you worry. We have a lot of applauding to do in this room. But first, we do. I know we do have some movie experts in the room, and summer blockbusters. There's always the list that comes out for summer movie viewing. So, what summer movies do you think are setting the tone for this season? What do you think about the list?
Man.
Horror is back, baby.
Yeah.
Horror
that's what
is
it
back.
seems like. Yeah.
I mean, everyone is going crazy over Sinners, and with good reason why.
Yes.
I am not a horror fan or like a thriller, don't make me scared fan. Like, I don't like that. But I loved the like social, like political message of it all. So that's what intrigued me about it and allowed me to sleep at night because because it was actually really like thoughtful, and I appreciated that. But I think people are kind of getting like back into that. Let's create some really thoughtful movies
and original content, right, Sufana? Because a lot of this stuff coming out this summer is it's already
Jurassic Park 12
25
number
or
beyond.
something, or
It's not 12, but it
there's
feels like
series.
But basically, they're making another one.
Sufana's shaking her head.
I'm one and done unless the movie has like this cliffhanger at the end and you don't know what happened to, you know, the character or the main characters. Then I'm like, and it's well written and all that. Then I want to see, you know, the next one. But I'm one and done. I just can't do all the sequels and prequels.
Agreed.
It seems like another summer of franchises. This one seems very heavy with franchises, but maybe I think it's been like that. And I think, I mean, there's a lot of buzz around Sinners for a lot of reasons. It's just an exceptional movie, even if horror really isn't your thing, which horror is not my thing either. But I think it's an original movie. And people are just not shocked by that, but not used to seeing that as much.
No, and I think it's because they combine the genre. So it's not only a horror movie, but it's also a historical piece. It's also a little bit of comedy in there, and it's also a musical. So I think people are like kind of surprised about that because we don't get movies that mix genres that much, you know. And I think that might be the trend, you know. And I think that can speak to getting more of the people, more of an robust audience, you know, to see these movies. Sinners, even though Sinners isn't exactly a summer movie,
right?
It did, like, it started off for me. Like, that movie I will go see 2 more times. I've only seen it once right now, but I will go see it at least 2 more times. Because I know that the first time around, I'm not seeing what everybody else is seeing. I'm seeing something different, hearing something different, and then the second time around I'm gonna see what everyone else is seeing, you know, the layers and the complexity of the meanings of the characters and all of that. So it blew my mind with everything that he, you know, put into there about, you know, the history of the music, the history of Black and Irish living together, you know, and just going back to, you know, the music, or moving forward to the music part, you know, that part was phenomenal, where he just put everybody's culture in there, all kinds of music and dancing, and I was like, oh my goodness, can this guy fail at anything?
I know, right? It was so beautiful. I loved like how they started with the indigenous people. Oh, well, I'm just, if you haven't seen the movie, that's your fault. Right? But like, I love how they started with the indigenous community as like, and since they, especially in this country, like were the start, were the foundation. I love that they kind of like set the tone for the rest of the movie, and then everyone kind of like built like, on that in this shared space. I thought it was exceptionally done in that regard.
Do you think Sinners brought people back into the theater?
I think so, because it had been a while since I had been in the theater, and I was like, okay, well, this is worth me sitting in the theater.
I feel like I hear more people talking about going to the theater just to see Sinners than I've heard people going to the theater in a while, because I just wait for it to get out, but people needed to see it. And a lot of people were hoping to get it on IMAX too at some point, you know. So I mean, does it maybe set the tone for people to want to go to the movies this summer, or does it have to be something you really want to see? Because I'm not going to lie, I don't even know what summer blockbuster means anymore when I see this list. I'm not, you know, when it's titles you've seen so many times, is it that thrilling?
No.
I
think no. I don't understand the Jurassic Park thing. To me, I'm like, guys, where else are we gonna go? We keep going back to the same island. We think, oh no, it will be safe this time, and then it isn't, because spoiler alert, it never is, because it's dinosaurs. I don't. And they keep making guys.
I feel like it's probably designed now for people that have kids at home in the summer for a rain day.
Let's just take them to the movies.
I mean, but then again, I guess they wouldn't keep making these movies unless people were watching.
So true.
How many Final Destination movies are there?
It literally says in the name
6?
Final Destination,
Right.
and they've made 6 of them. It's what?
Wild.
But wait, no, this is really Final.
Okay.
It's like the Halloween franchise. Like they just keep.
Yeah.
Oh, he's dead. No, he's really dead now. No, he's back. No, he's dead again. Like I can't. I'm over it. I'm
Right.
so
Oh, I
over
hate
it.
those.
What do you need? What elements do you need to make a story new to you, or something that you want to go see? What will draw you in to go see a movie or get excited about a movie?
I think if it taps into like current events, and then if it has to be a franchise, maybe it goes into the next generation, like who's left behind, and see what they're up to and how can they flesh out their story. You know?
I'm a fan of a prequel sometimes too, if done right. Backtracking a little bit.
Yeah.
I like to see people, and I'm an actor, so I like characters, and I like to see people that I haven't seen like before. I like to see new actors, right? I like to see new like communities being represented. Like where's the like disabled love story or differently abled love story? Like that's what I want to see, right? So I'd go to the movies to see that.
Yeah.
But if it's the same, the same thing again, it's a hard time to get me in there.
Well, and to your point, there are so many great books right now that have disabled love stories or, just like normal rom-com books that are just about people that we're not seeing on screen. So why can't we adapt one of those books? Like I'm kind of done with Colleen Hoover. Can we please I don't know, it could be so easy to do a little rom-com, make that into a movie. It would be so easy.
I'd go to see that. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
What develops interest in a new actor? Because I do feel like, there's always the safe bets of the actors that people know or they've proven themselves in movies before. How do you get an audience interested in a new actor, and what draws you to a new actor? Do you have to pair them with somebody that you know? Do you think you like to give them a chance?
I mean,
I don't know.
I know. I don't know what to say about it because
Like you don't want to have to do that,
Yeah.
but I guess to get people on board to really get them, like they paired, Michael B. Jordan with Wound Me.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about Wound Me, and I was like, just like feverishly looking up more stuff that she did, and I was like, oh my goodness, this woman is beautiful. Like she's a great actor. Oh, she played one of the twins' love interest, the one he had a baby by.
oh, the one that passed.
Yeah,
Yeah, got you.
so you were a fan of Michael B. Jordan, and then you gravitated toward her. What made you like her?
The way she brought about that character.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this, how her presence, even just her presence was like, okay, I really like what she does in these scenes.
She was actually in Lovecraft County,
That's what
which
somebody
is
said.
very,
Yeah.
very like the even the aesthetic of Lovecraft County with like Sinners is very similar. So I see entirely why they cast her in that. She's beautiful and wildly talented. I was thinking about what might attract me to somebody new. I think it's like the story, right? Like what story are they telling? And if this is a story that I have not heard before, I am open to whoever's gonna kill it.
Yeah.
Right. But I also come from a theater background, so I'm used to not knowing who's up there.
Yeah.
Right. Because they're not all Hugh Jackman. Right. So I'm used to not knowing them, so I'm much more open to seeing, oh, they're gonna tell this story. Let's see how they do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There is a certain I don't know, an actor that really grabs your attention, that sort of captivates you. There's an it factor, and I don't think it's necessarily someone who's beautiful or necessarily even it's just someone who's so into it and so committed and telling the story so honestly. But there's something like in the stage, we say take the stage. When you enter, take the stage, bring all that energy, just this ball of energy, this life force that's really living through these experiences. And I think it's just, if you're watching someone on camera, you're seeing this much of their face sometimes, and it can be captivating, or it could be really boring. So I've definitely seen plenty of movies where they do a close-up and there's just like the lights are on and no one's home, and I'm like, I'm so
tapped out.
bored. Yeah, I don't care about you at all. But then you watch a movie like Sinners. How many close-ups were there where you're like watching the little muscles in their face move, and you're watching the tears grow in their eyes, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is captivating. So for me, it's like, maybe that wouldn't necessarily, a new actor wouldn't bring me in to see the film, but if it's a film that I want to see, and then all of a sudden there's this new face that is so invested, I'm fully captivated. I'm in.
Same.
I'm like, ooh, who's that? They're great. What a star.
Who's a creator or filmmaker that you think is groundbreaking right now, or maybe trying to break the mold of these safe franchises?
A24.
Yeah.
Anything they touch, I think, is
very
unique. They've got a rom-com that's coming out.
They have a new
that I don't think is
coming
actually
out.
going to be a rom-com. I have a theory on
Let's
it.
see here.
It's with Dakota.
Fanning?
No, what's her name?
I know what you're talking
She did 50 Shades of Grey. What's her name?
Ooh, I don't know.
about. She's dating Chris Martin from Coldplay.
Yeah. Yes. What's her name? I can't think of her name. Anyway.
Dakota Johnson.
Thank you.
And the movie is Materialist.
Thank you.
Yes.
Materialist.
I always want to call her Dakota Fanning too.
I know.
I just Dakota's
Dakota,
such
whatever.
a different name.
But
I'm sorry.
This
I'm sorry,
is an
other
A24
Dakota.
film
Yeah.
that they're saying is a rom-com. I don't trust them.
Oh, Pedro Pascal.
Yes.
I'm gonna go
Chris
see it.
Evans.
And
Did they
Chris-
debut that at Cannes?
They might have.
Is that why he was on the red carpet with the black sleeveless shirt and the pants? Sorry. It's supposedly the outfit of the summer.
Sleeveless on Pedro Pascal? Yes. Sleeveless on a lot of other people? I don't know about that, but on him
Pedro
for
Pascal,
sure.
absolutely.
Yes.
No, I am intrigued to see that because, well, A24 and then also
Yeah.
just something different and a
Yeah,
new
it looks
idea.
interesting. I just know that there's going to be some dark undercurrent in that, and I can't wait.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to fool us all.
Ooh.
It's a rom-com for the summer. No.
So
Man.
No.
on the list of new movies coming out in summer of 2025, a lot of them are franchises. Not gonna lie. Okay, so Karate Kid. Okay, I can keep going with the Karate Kids.
Okay.
I think that might be.
I mean, there's still
My
kids.
guilt.
Every year there's going to be more kids, and then every year, karate still exists. So
I think this one's geared. I think this one's geared for the parents though, because Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio are in it.
Oh, see, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for anybody that had a
I probably want to see that too. So.
crush on Ralph Macchio when they were a kid. Not mentioning anybody.
I just love me some
But Ballerina is a spinoff from John Wick, the John Wick franchise. I am a John Wick fan. Okay, I could do that one. So Final Destination, Bloodlines 6. You were correct. Another Mission Impossible.
No.
It can't be that impossible.
This
Keep doing
coming
it.
weekend.
It's possible.
Is
It's
he
possible
still doing
now.
his own
It's
stuff?
possible.
It's possible.
Yep. Next installment. How to Train Your Dragon.
No, that one I'm so excited for. I'm really excited for that
See,
one.
we all have our we're like,
That's a
no,
weakness
I'm-
for me.
No,
Right,
and then
right.
there's always
Then you
one
hear
like,
one,
oh,
it's like,
okay.
oh,
okay.
that one.
I need that movie to be good. I need it to be good.
Because the first one was so excellent.
Because it was so good. And now it's going to be a live action remake.
Oh, snap.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
I like cartoons.
I was really okay.
That's
So
clearly I like
too.
anime, yeah.
I really like animated media forms of all kind. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I saw the casting. They've been doing some promo of like who they got for Astrid. I think she's so cute. I think she's super sassy. I think she's like perfect with the kid that they got for Hiccup.
I want to.
I'm really excited.
Okay. I have to look into it.
I think it'll be cute. I'm excited.
28 days later. We're back into zombies,
Again?
right? Yeah. Jurassic World Rebirth. I know you're excited about that,
So
Christina.
thrilled. Can't wait.
Superman. A lot of promo around that. A new Superman film.
Very excited for that.
potentially part of a broader DC universe reboot.
Okay.
So you're okay with that? You're okay with a
I
new
am, because it's
Superman?
been a minute since we've seen like Superman, and the other movie was okay for me. As a DC fan, it was okay. Right? So I would love for them to bring it back, redo it, and like kind of bring it back to life in a better way.
Yeah.
I usually think if the movie originally sucked and you bring it back and it's better, I think that that's okay. Right.
Okay.
I'm okay with that kind of franchise continuing.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, make sure it's going to be good.
Right, it's going to be good.
I'm always glad that we have somebody in the room that will talk DC and Marvel, because
You're welcome.
I'm just so intrigued, but I still can't get it straight myself. But I love to hear the conversations, and I know, I sample some of the movies here and there, so I always love to hear the people that can talk about it. And it actually gets me more interested in it, which. Promo is the whole other world. I know, Christina, you were talking about promo. So, yes, we have another Final Destination movie, but what's getting a lot of attention around those movies are the trailers and the promo, the log truck situation. So you're basically, traumatizing people to get them to watch the movie.
Yeah.
And I think, is that you're a movie person, Sufana. Is there something to do with horror that the real life stuff is the scary stuff? Or the things that really could happen? Is that the fear factor?
I think that is for the vast majority of people that see horror films. For me, that doesn't bring me in anymore. When I was a kid, I loved horror movies. But then when I started seeing them as an adult, they just don't measure up. For me, they just don't measure up.
Yeah.
It's too sensationalized and it's corny. They're corny.
Real.
Yeah, I feel like that's how I look at them. I was never a horror person when I was younger, though. But now I'm just like, is this supposed to be campy and corny, or is this how people view it?
Me? Oh, I get scared. I don't like being scared.
No, same.
Yeah.
I think the Final Destination is trying to do with their promos what Smile did. I don't know if you remember that movie Smile, which they did brilliant marketing, because it was just sending people, like actors, to big events to stand somewhere that like behind the cameraman or whatever, and just smile like real creepy.
That's terrible.
But it worked. It was very effective because it was very disturbing, and then you're like, oh, it's about this movie, and then you watch the movie and it's like almost even more disturbing. So I think that one was very clever and it was very interesting. This one with the like log truck or whatever, I'm like, it's a cute idea, but like
I am uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable sitting here talking about this now.
Wait, what do they do with the log truck?
It's something with the logs coming.
It's like
crashing
they've
down.
got trucks that are driving around with like painted. It looks like there's logs that are like loosely put into the back of the truck, so that you're driving behind it and you're like, ooh, and then you realize like it says Final Destination on it. So it's like,
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And you are not a horror person.
What? I would sue them. Oh my God. What?
I didn't sign up for this. I didn't buy a ticket to this. I'm just trying to drive
no way that's
my
legal.
car.
That is terrifying.
Yeah.
Gabriella, I mean, we are going to be talking about theater and the Arties, but being an actor, what if you had to have you done any horror scenes? Because if you're not a horror fan and you don't like to be scared, how do you act in a situation where,
or do you pass? Like, that's a hard pass for you.
Yeah. Honestly, and the same thing like when you do like fight. I don't like violence either, but I've done shows where I have to, slap somebody or there's someone getting killed or whatever.
Sure.
Things are so choreographed, especially these days. Things are so choreographed. Things are so transparent that you don't feel fear. It's really for the audience. Like, I have to stop myself from laughing when I slap somebody because everyone's like, I'm like, hi, you don't know I'm like 4 feet away from this person. Yeah. So that's how I would handle it if I was in a horror film, though I wouldn't want to watch it because then I'd be like, oh my God, am I okay?
I'm scared of myself.
What happens next?
What happens next to me?
I think the fake blood would make me feel queasy. I think like if I had to do a scene as an actor, if I had to do a scene where like everything was, I don't know, like I just think I would not do well with. I think it would be too sticky and too visceral, and I would be like,
Even if you saw them
I'm out.
making it, if they showed you, Christina,
No, I
look, this
think-
is fake.
Because when you're acting, like when you're in that moment and you're acting, if you're covered in sticky red, I think it would just be maybe a little too real for my body. I think my body would register it as like actual.
There's blood on you.
Like I may know in my head that it's fake, but like some part of your body is really going through that when you're acting. That's true. So I think there would be, I don't know, I think the sticky sensory nightmare, it's not supposed to taste good either, but like it has to be something that can be edible usually. So like,
and you know, to your point too, Gabriella, I don't like horror and I don't like violence, and I feel like a lot of the horror movies are pretty violent.
So violent.
Very violent.
There's always weapons or chasing, and I think it's funny because I like scary I like theatrical scary things, but I don't like to be scared, or I don't like to be startled, or people jumping out at me. That's why I don't do horror haunted houses. But there's definitely I think there is a difference.
Yeah.
Well, we will get the expert opinions on theater, and the Artie Awards 2025 Artie Award nominations have been announced, so we'll talk more about that in regards to local theater coming up next on Group Chat on BTPM NPR. Welcome back to Group Chat. I'm Bentley, and I'm here with my guests, Gabriella McKinley, actor, director, program director at Ujima Company, and 2025 Artie Award nominee, Sufana Wajed, artist, designer, associate producer, and production coordinator at Buffalo Toronto Public Media. She's behind the scenes of all the great productions that you see here. And Ashleigh Chrisena Ricci, performer and host of Buffalo Toronto Public Media's Let's Go and 2025 Artie Award nominee. This list every year is always so impressive, and I know that you will all be able to break it down a little better for me because you are in it and you're involved in it. But let's just give the shout outs. Let's give some credit where credit's due. Outstanding direction of a play. Gabriella, you are nominated for the Niceties Second Generation Theater. Yay!
Oh.
Which was such a groundbreaking play. It was just a one scene play, right? Or one shot.
It was exactly. The first act is straight through, and then the second act is a week later, right?
Yeah.
So, or maybe it's 2 weeks later. I don't remember at this point, right? But it goes straight through. So big compliments to my actors who. Anika Pace is also nominated. I'm really happy for to see us in 2 categories. This was my first fully realized play that I directed, and I couldn't be more proud. I mean, I put my heart into this piece. The minute Kelly and Kristen had sent it over to me, I said, can I please direct the stage reading? And they asked me to direct the full play. So to see it recognized for the work that went into it, and really big ups to the entire team. I mean, it was fabulous.
Yeah.
It was all around.
So as we dive into this, can you just explain what the role of a director is to people that might be theater novices listening, but they know they enjoy to go to theater, but they don't maybe know exactly what the director does?
Yeah. So we directors developed the entire concept for what this play is going to be talking about, right? What's important here? What do we want the audiences to walk away with, right? And how are we going to communicate that message to them? So am I designing the set? No, but do I have lots of ideas about it? Absolutely. Same thing with costumes, same thing with marketing, same things with everything, right? What is important about this play? So that's what I established months and months prior to directing it, right? I said, what do we want to talk about here? Okay. And how are we telling these stories? I decided I really wanted people to understand how they could be misunderstood, how they could be, how we are both of these people, right? And to see themselves in both of these characters, and it worked, right? Yes. And it was successful. And in the reviews that I heard, people telling me that's what it worked, and it was really successful, but also due to a lot of the success of my actors, really, and the rest and the entire team. The set really came in clutch, and my actors did their they understood the story, and they trusted me and trusted my vision.
Yeah.
So that's really the role of the director.
Well, and I think the key word too is vision, because I think, the layperson, when they hear director, they just picture a movie set with somebody yelling at the actors, but there's listen, everybody's style is just but there's a whole vision. You are involved in every part of the play or musical or whatever you're directing, there's a lot of parts of that and the vision and the interpretation of that.
Exactly. And going from actor to director, really helpful, because I knew how I wanted to be talked to, right? I knew I knew all the different parts that went into it, because as an actor, if you're not creating the marketing, you're definitely a part of it, right? If you're not designing the costumes, you're wearing them. So I really had an idea of how all these different pieces and how I wanted all these different pieces to look, which was a big first step, big hurdle to get over.
Yeah, for sure. Chrisena, outstanding supporting actress in a musical for Pippin. And I sort of feel like we here at Group Chat saw you through a lot of this. You were doing a lot for Pippin when you were also doing Group Chat. And I remember you worked really hard on this.
Yeah. Pippin that's a dream show. The first time I saw that show, I was like, someday I'll play Catherine. I just will. And finally got the opportunity. And it just lived up to the hype. I mean, it was just, the cast was incredible. We just gelled. Sometimes when you work on a project, you like the people that you work with, and it's fine. But you're kind of just doing your job. And then other times you work with a company of people and you feel like a company. And Pippin really felt like a company where we had each other's backs. There was just a certain level of trust on stage that you don't always find with your co-actors, but there was just this safety. It just felt so safe that we really were able to take more risks acting wise and just really go for it. But I've wanted to play the role forever, and I'm so glad I got to, and I'm glad that people liked it, I guess. That's great.
You played the role of Catherine?
Catherine,
Can you explain her a little bit?
Yeah, so kind of a princess track. Catherine makes her appearance in Act 2, which was... I'm not used to that, so that was great. Had extra time to put the wig on and everything. So the story follows Pippin, who is Charlemagne's son. So he's a prince, and he goes on this quest to find this extraordinary life that he's meant to lead. And along the way, he tries all these different avenues of life to find that kind of thrilling sensation that he's looking for. He goes to war. He gets around, we'll put it that way, gets around a little bit. So he tries all these different things, and then he's sort of at the end of his rope at the end of Act 1. And then we start Act 2, and he is now the king, and he shouldn't be the king. And he realizes he's made a terrible mistake, because that's not the life that he wants at all. And so he runs away from the kingdom and kind of is ready to give up. And then he meets Catherine, who is a youngish widow with a son. And he sort of accidentally falls in love with her and realizes that sometimes the ordinary bits of life are the most important and the most extraordinary. And so it was a really fun role to play. I loved the young actor who played my son, who played Catherine's son, Theo, was incredible. He was like, if we missed a line, he would just be like, hey, you said that part wrong. It's actually, you used the wrong word here. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, great.
Thanks. Yeah.
Did you have a broken leg during that time too, or was that after?
That was before.
Okay.
I broke my leg last summer, talking about theater. I broke my leg. I broke my foot. I broke 3 different bones in my foot during literally a year ago this month, on stage at Oklahoma.
Whoa.
And it happened, and I was like, ow. And I turned to my friend, I said, I think I maybe just broke my foot. We went off stage. I took some Advil. I wrapped it up real tight. We finished the show. It was closing show, so it's perfect. I took someone had to take the boot off of my foot, like the shoe off my foot. We looked at it, and I was like, yeah, I think that's a broken foot.
Yeah.
And then I had already been hired to do Drunk Theater Buffalo's murder mystery last summer. And so I went to the doctor, and they were like, yeah, you really broke your foot. And I was like, okay, cool. Okay, great. So I know what that feels like now.
Wow.
Not as bad as we thought. Not great. Like, I wouldn't recommend it. But so then last summer I did the director Alex Watts for that production, she ended up saying, let's just figure it out. So my character is sort of the villain in that show last summer, and so they let me use my scooter and we just added, talk about making places more accessible. So we just added a whole bunch of props onto the scooter itself and just made it like one of the characters.
That's cool.
And we just rolled with it. But yeah, that's
Love it.
Summer in a boot.
Excellent.
It was wild.
And Gabriella, you are also involved with Ujima Theater, who's nominated. I feel like, outstanding production of a play. The African Company presents Richard III.
Yeah.
Yes.
And everybody, what I was a part of. So talk about ensemble.
There you go.
We had the entire staff of Ujima Company was in or involved on everybody. And to be nominated, like I couldn't, of course I'm rooting for my play to win, right?
Yeah.
Right. I couldn't think of a better example of an ensemble coming together than that one. Ujima staff plus Alejandro Gomez, right? So it was really quite fabulous to do that show with this team, plus Lisa Ludwig, plus Gerald Ramsey, plus lots of really great people on that team, and then also for African Company Presents, right? For the African Company Presents Richard III. I felt like this show allowed me as the program director to look at the full scope of history, to look at the full scope of like partnering with Shakespeare in Delaware Park, right? Like to really like get into what this, some other aspects of this show. It lent itself so well. So I was really excited to see this show nominated, because it was beautiful, and I love a good history piece, especially in theater, and this one was. So it was really great.
Sufana, you're involved, and I know your family is involved in a lot of different fashion things in the area, and I do love that the Arties pay attention to a lot. They have a lot of different awards, so like outstanding costume design is one of those awards. So how do you look at theater in a different way with your fashion background?
Yeah, I'm always looking at, okay, who came up with that costume? Or who decided to go back to this? Or if it's a timepiece, like how did they find these pieces? Did they go thrifting? Did they, outsource? Did they get a, costume designer and seamstress? I'm always looking, at the outfits. Like when I was a child, I would watch black and white movies with my mom, and the first thing that I would do was look at the opulence and the dresses and the hats and the furs and all that, and I still do that to this day. Like it was a rainy Sunday, I'm on the couch watching black and white movies. But I'm that's the main thing I'm always looking at.
Yeah, it's interesting too that you bring up, how the costumes were sourced. Even in you look at some of these theaters; these aren't. These are local theaters, and sometimes with not a huge budget. So that in itself can also be a challenge, but also something that people can get very creative. Like, requires a little more creativity sometimes if you don't have a huge budget.
And community, and going, hey, I saw this in your show last year. I think we can rent that, or we can borrow that.
Yeah, borrow that.
I can borrow that. Yeah. We do a lot of that too. And thinking about fashion, something that's also really cool to take a look at is Artie Night. When everyone pulls out the stops, on their outfits.
On the red carpet.
Exactly. It's my favorite thing. The year before last year, I wore a dress that was actually in the show that I was in. Wasn't my costume. It was Lisette de Jesus' costume, right? And it was for Murder on the Orient Express. And I said, this dress is just too beautiful. So I asked to wear that, and I did. Right. Yeah. So regardless of being like on the stage, even like award night is like a huge fashion.
I know a lot of people who borrow suits that they wore on stage. They'll borrow suits for the Arties. I thrifted my dress last year. It was so cute. I was on crutches, which kind of like ruined it, but still cute. I got a couple pictures of me balancing on my one sparkly little stiletto in my dress.
I remember that. Did you get it from Second Chic?
Yeah.
I know, because I remember you tagging that. I'm like, because I remember your dress, because I remember saying, because I get stuff there too. And I love it there. Don't let the secret out.
Right. Don't tell everybody.
when I first moved to this area a while ago, I remember my first entry into the Arties was seeing photos of the red carpet. I'm like, what are the Arties? Because these people, everybody's dresses. I'm like, what are the Arties? You know, and I remember looking it up and trying to figure. I'm like, oh, this is great. But I remember my first window into the Arties was the fashion.
Yeah, I love it.
What do the Arties mean to the theater community? Because sometimes there in other award situations, there's there's people that talk against it and saying we shouldn't be competing against each other, but it does feel like the Arties are more of a recognition.
Yeah.
I think there are multiple reasons that I feel like it needs to be a recognition and not like a judgment of your value as a theater company or your value as a performer, right? Because there's a lot of politics that go into it, I'm sure, right? As that go
just
into
like anything else.
Just like anything else. So I feel like it is a time for the community to, number one, look beautiful and all come out like together to go, you're nominated for this thing. Oh my God, I saw your show. Oh, I wish you were nominated for this. Right? And to really just recognize each other's greatness for a minute and look great while doing it. Because we all create such radically different theater all around town that it's beautiful to come together and go, oh, my theater was so different from your theater, but we're in the same category. How cool is that? Right. So I think there's a lot of really great reasons, but that's one of my favorites.
I think also it's good for us to remember that it is actually like an event that raises money for HIV/AIDS research and support. And so if no other reason, buy your ticket, put on a great dress, buy a glass of wine, hang out with your friends. The proceeds go to a really good cause and support a community that really needs our support, especially in the theater community. So I think if we keep that at the heart of it and we know that we're just there for community and we're really there to celebrate one another and just like, we are so lucky to live in a place that has such a lively theater community where we can have an award situation like this and people care about it to the point that they'll say, oh, this person was robbed, they should have been nominated or they should have won. That is so cool. So like I'm trying to do like real big picture and I've kind of always felt that way about award ceremonies. It's like big picture, like this is so cool. And just the fact that we get to be here together is such a gift. And so I'm looking forward to it. We're going to celebrate. It's not about competition. It's about celebration.
Absolutely.
And maybe to people from the outside that enjoy theater, this might give them some references of, seeing the list and saying, I haven't checked out a production at that theater company. And so you mentioned, Chrisena, so is this open to the public as well? If there's is there a limited amount of tickets?
There's
or the
definitely
public
a limited amount of tickets just because of the venue. Last year, the Arties was at Shea's 710 Theater, and they had 2 different seating areas. They had a bar space, and then they had seats within the theater, and they ran out very quickly of tickets. Although I'm pretty sure if you want a ticket and you are in the theater community and you can't find one, that people will make it happen for you. But Babeville it's at Babeville this year, which is super cool. I love that venue. I think we should use it more, especially for theater. It's like such a cool venue. So there will be limited tickets because there's only so many people you can fit in that building. But you could just buy them online and you go to Babeville's website and then you can buy them there. But there's more available this year than last year.
Okay. So I can go and I don't have to say, but I know some theater people. Okay.
Bentley, you should
I don't have to call in a favor.
It's really cool.
I didn't know if I was allowed.
You just buy your tickets. Anybody who wants to go online and buy a ticket can buy a ticket.
So then but you gotta
dress up cute though.
I know. Okay.
I'm going to second sheet then.
Yes.
I love when folks like that have only seen shows come, because then they kind of treat you even more like a superstar. And they're like, oh, I saw you in that show and I saw that show and it was such an awesome, and they know everything about it, but they don't have the competitive spirit of being like, I hope I get, right? It's just like pure joy and love for the art. I love that. I love that.
I think having some fans in there definitely.
Right?
So we'll see you there, Bentley.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
I feel like
Thank you, Jess.
I've been a part of some of these things, just talking about them all year. So I would love to see you all celebrating. I'm always jealous after the fact because I hear how much fun everybody has, and then I see all the outfits, and I'm like, that looks like a good party.
Yeah.
So plans for the weekend other than celebrating your Artie Award nominations? You gonna go camping again, Gabriella?
Not camping again, right? That is a once a month shenanigan. I love doing it. No, I'm going on that wine tour, and that should be like that'll be enough for me, enough adventure for me.
Sure.
So that's awesome, and then I'll take a big breath and move on to the next plan the next adventure.
Sure. Sufana, how about you?
Once a month I go to a family's art studio and I work in some art.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you have any exhibitions coming up? Does your family have any exhibitions coming up?
No.
That you can talk about?
They're ending.
Okay.
Yeah, and I personally am still building mine.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah, be on the lookout.
What's your preferred medium?
Acrylic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
And I do a lot of tropical words. So,
Ooh.
yeah, because I love color. So,
Yeah.
Could people see your work like online or?
yeah, it's on Instagram. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. We will now that you're making the art this weekend, we won't pressure you too much for that next exhibit, but we will be asking you when
Yeah,
no pressure.
I
but
pressure myself.
we're looking forward to it. How about you, Christina?
Bentley. You know what I'm going to say. I've got rehearsal this weekend. So we just finished up, I just finished up Theater of Youth, Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus, which was so fun. That pesky pigeon wanted to drive that bus over and over again. And the kids in the audience said, no, don't let it. They were so invested. So that just finished for me. So started 2 weeks ago, rehearsal for Crazy for You at Lancaster Opera House. So that opens June 6th. So we're getting pretty close.
Yeah. Great.
So in rehearsals for that.
Listen, we just need to keep a list of your shows. So
I know.
Man, the one thing I realized that everyone, I wish we get better as a theater community at this. Everyone opened on May 1st and everyone closed on May 18th.
Yes.
So I didn't get to see anything.
Yes.
The whole time.
I was going to say something about that. As somebody that doesn't get to the theater as much as often as I would like, can you please spread that out?
I will say part of that is up to the licensing companies
That's true.
when they can get the dates.
Okay.
But I will say that some theater companies have started doing more creative showtimes.
Yep.
So I know the Cav was doing shows at like 3 p.m. or something on Saturdays instead of a Saturday night. They did like a 3 p.m. So if you wanted to make it to a 7:30 or 8 o'clock show on Saturday night, you could.
And you can make it to your call if you're an actor.
Right. And then I know O'Connell and Company started doing Sunday night shows.
Yeah, Second Gen did that too.
Yes, I think that's brilliant. Maybe they could coordinate and figure out like, okay, I'm going to do a Sunday night industry night on this show or something. I think there's definitely a way that we can compromise and make that happen.
Absolutely.
Or like maybe we could do like a Monday night industry show or something.
One show
every
gets
once
the
in a
Monday
while.
night. Exactly.
Yeah.
I like those suggestions. Maybe moving forward. Those are good cocktail discussions at the Arties, right?
Yes.
There it is.
Talk to the right people.
There you go.
And I have to give a shout out. He's not here, but he is a part of group chat often. Michael Gilbert Wakowiak was nominated for Outstanding Direction of a Musical for Hedwig and the Angry Inch, second generation.
It was so
theater.
good.
I did get to see that because it was Sunday night.
Yeah.
So it was incredible.
Yeah. Incredible.
Can't wait to give him a hug over that.
Can't wait to see what he's gonna wear. Like I know he always wears something fantastic.
Well, we should have an Artie's fashion recap.
We should.
Yeah, that would be so fun.
We're planting the seed.
Okay, great.
That wraps up today's episode of Group Chat for now. If you want to continue the conversation, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter at BTPMNPR. Also, check us out on the video podcast on Buffalo Toronto Public Media's YouTube channel. And we want to know what's on your mind, so you can also drop us an email. what should we be chatting about. Tell us what's on your pop culture radar. And you can send that to groupchat@btpm.org. And if you appreciate this programming, protectmypublicmedia.org. It's information. It's people that you can send emails to. So definitely a time to take action, and it's a very easy thing to do. I'd like to thank my guests, Gabriella McKinley, Sufana Wajed, and Ashleigh Chrisena Ricci. I'm your host, Bentley. Have a great weekend, and thanks for listening.